Hello, this is Mark Tucker, and welcome to part 3 of creating a badge wrapper component in APL. So in the end, once again, what we're looking for is to be able to add badges to a variety of components, and the wrapper part is what we finished in the last video. So right now we've got 3 components that aren't being wrapped. They're just like a plain frame, a plain Alexa icon button. But this last one is being wrapped by the badge wrapper. Now, because everything that's in the badge wrapper is either calling a badge wrapper children component or is a container, and containers aren't visual, we don't see anything. And if we look at the badge wrapper children component, then it just has a container. So that's why it doesn't really look like anything's changed over here. We're just kind of surfacing the existing component, wrapping it with a number of different layers to get a control that wraps around it. So that's where we left off. What we want to do now is start adding things. And the first thing that we want to go ahead and do is this component is not only the component that's being wrapped, we want the badge itself. So in order to do that, we need a frame component. And so that's what we're going to go ahead and do, a type of frame. And this is what's going to actually be the badge itself. It's going to be visible. So we've got a frame, but we need to give our frame like size and colors and stuff. And I'm just going to just really quick to kind of show you what we're going for, and then we'll start actually breaking this out into some real things. So like a background color, we want this to be red, for example. It's going to have a width that is 10. It's going to have a height, which is 10. Doesn't matter, those are same things. So do you see right there, there's our badge, or the beginnings of our badge. So let's go 30 and 30. There we go. So there's our badge. It's not positioned or anything, but you get the idea is that we're starting to create this badge. Now, let's talk about the different properties that we want to be able to set on this badge, because the badge is going to have 2 pieces. It's going to be the badge itself, plus it's going to have an item which is going to be of type text. So here's the text component, and we want to be able to specify that the text that we're going to have is going to be, there we go. It's the font size doesn't fit, and it's just kind of all, but you can see that we've got text in there. So that's kind of where we're going. So that's really the basics. The rest of the stuff is figuring out what properties we need to set and what we want this component to look like. So the way to start setting that up is we go back up here to our parameters and we decide what are the different parameters that we want. And so I'm going to go ahead and paste in a whole section of the different properties that we want on this. And then we'll go through each one of these and talk about what the different properties mean and how that's going to help us in our control. I keep saying control because that's kind of where I'm used to, but everything's a component. Let's see. That error will go away once we paste that in. So now saving this is going to format for us. So let's go through each of these different properties. We already understand that the item and items have to do with the control that's being passed in, that's being wrapped. But we want some text to show up in here, and right now we hard-coded it to X. and it's going to be of type string, and we're going to just say that it's going to start off as an empty string. Badge size is a dimension, and that's going to be 50 device independent pixels, could be 50 dp. The font size is going to be smaller, it's going to be 30. It's going to start off with excuse me. It's going to start off with a font weight of bold, but that's something we're going to change. What's the color of the background color going to be instead of red? What's the text color going to be? The border color, border width, the radius. So 25 means that it's going to come around make it into a circle. Now these positioning right, left, top, and bottom is going to help us position where the badge is in our system here, in our component. And then this flag, does the badge always show? So the idea being is that if you pass in some badge text, the button's going to show. If the badge text is an empty string, like it's being defaulted to here, then it's not going to show, unless I have show badge always to true. So when this is set to false, then the badge text, if there's something there, it's going to be visible. If there's nothing there, it's an empty string, then it's not going to show. But if this is set to true, then the badge is always going to be there. So that's what we're working on with that. And I think that's going to be a good introduction into what we're doing. So the rest of what we're going to do in the next video is that we're going to actually fill in the different properties on this frame and on this text. And you can start to see where like the badge text color and the badge font and font size and text is going to be properties that we're going to map to the text component, and things like the badge size and the badge background color are things that we're going to map to the frame. So this is probably a good place to stop, but everything else is we're going to really just focus on filling in properties here, and we'll continue from that point.